And the book we're going to read today is Musical Instruments from A to Z by Bobbie Kalman. Bobbie Kalman writes a lot of books about science, but this one is not about science. This one is about musical instruments. So it's interesting that the author has decided to touch upon another area of specialty, which is music. Let's learn all the letters of the alphabet and some of these instruments that begin with each of these letters so that we have a better idea of how to call certain instruments in class or outside of class. Here's a harp for you to look at. A is not for harps, but it has to do with harps. Harps have been around for thousands of years. They make beautiful sounds when you pluck their strings. Most people think of angels when they hear a harp. Harp does not start with an A, but angel music does. And that's why we have angels over here. I'm going to show you C while I'm reading B. B is for instruments with a round body and 5 strings. Players pluck or strum the strings. This instrument was brought to North America from Africa. For hundreds of years, it was part of African American folk music. Did you guess that B is for banjo? Banjo. It looks like a guitar. C is for an instrument made from stones. The stones are carved in shapes such as fish, fruit, clouds, or bells. Each stone vibrates and makes a different sound when you strike it with a mallet. Did you know that a qing is an instrument from China? Well, look at that. While I'm reading D, you're going to be looking at E and F. D is for something you hit with hands or sticks. It helps keep the beat of music. Native people say it sounds like a heartbeat of Mother Earth. But in the past, people sent long-distance messages by playing it loud. Did you know, or did you guess, that D is for drums? See the different kinds? There are different kinds of drums. E is for a guitar that you can play really loudly. You play a guitar with things that start with F. No, not your feet. You play the electric guitar with fingers. So electric guitar and fingers for F. While I read G, you're looking at H. G is for an instrument like the one on page 9, but this one is not electric. This instrument usually has 6 strings, but sometimes has 4 or 12. You can pluck or strum the strings. When you play this instrument, people often sing along. Did you guess that G is for guitar? H is for the instrument that you blow. Long ago, people used them to call to one another. They made them from shells, wood, and something that grew on the head of some animals. Later on, these instruments were made of brass. Did you guess that H is for horns? Look all the different kinds of horns. Not just the musical one, but look at the other ones. While I read I, you look at J. I is for instruments you can make yourself. To make a banjo, panpipes, and maracas, you will need a piece of wood, 12 screws, 6 rubber bands, corrugated cardboard, paint, 6 to 8 straws, 2 plastic bottles, and dried beans. And that's how you make some of these instruments. J is for is a noisy celebration. Now that you have finished making your instruments, it is time for some music. Invite your friends to play along with you. How many songs can you play? It does not matter how you sound, as long as you have fun jamming at your noisy jamboree. So it's called jamboree. Here's K, and you're looking at L while I'm reading K. K is for an instrument, part of many instruments. Pianos and accordions have 1. Other instruments have 2 or 11, 4, or even, let's read it again. Other instruments have 2 or even 4. This musical thing has many black and white parts that give its name. You press these keys with your fingers. Did you guess that K is for keyboard? Keyboard. L is for the string instrument whose name sounds like flute. This instrument is like a guitar, but its peg box is bent. And the peg box has pegs sticking out of it. Each string is wound around one peg. To tune a string, you turn its peg. Did you guess that this old instrument is a lute? And I've only seen it once, but if you see it here, the lute is bent right here. So it rhymes with flute, but it's called a lute. Let's go with M while you're looking at N. M is for the word that is found in the title of this book. Hearing it make people sing and dance. Composers hear it in their mind and then write it down so that other people can play or sing the sounds. Did you guess what M is for music? N is for the symbols that are used to write music. They tell musicians that sounds to make with their instruments and when they should make them. They show when the sound should be higher or lower, or longer or shorter. Did you know that N is for notes, which is what you see right here? And music teachers can teach you that. Here goes P while I read O. O is for keyboard instrument with pipes. When you press a key, air rushes into one or more pipes and makes a sound. Small pipes sound high notes and large ones make deep notes. Players control which pipes are open and which are closed. Did you guess what O? That O is for organ. You see them at the church. P is for a family of keyboard instruments whose name is short for pianoforte. This name means quiet, quiet, loud in Italian. When a key is pressed softly, it makes a quiet sound. When it is hit hard, it makes a loud sound. Hard harp harpsichord are part of this family. Did you guess piano family? Piano family. So, here we have a picture, because I'm reading on this side, Q and R. Q is for instrument that is popular in the mountain regions of South America. People use it to play folk music. They blow into the mouthpiece and make different notes by covering the holes with their fingers. Did you guess that Q is for quena? R is for the family of instruments to which the quena belongs. Saxophones, clarinets, oboes, and bassoons are also in the family. A reed, which is made of one or two thin strips of cane or plastic, is inside the mouthpiece of each instrument. Did you know that R is for reed instruments? So interesting, right? Now, on this page, you're going to see a lot for the letter S. All of these belong to the letter S. S is for instruments with parts that are plucked, strummed, or struck. On some players, pull a bow across the front of the instruments to make a sound. Violins, guitars, and harps are all part of this family. Did you know that S is for the stringed family? So you have a lot of them here. Not just the violin, but the viola, the cello. Okay? Continue. You will be looking at U while I do T. T is for three instruments that are made of metal called brass. These three instruments plus the French horn make up part of the brass section of an orchestra. Did you guess that T is for trombone, trumpet, and tuba? Well, here they are. Look. French horn. Here goes the trombone. Here goes the trumpet. This is the trumpet. And this is the tuba. Tuba is real big. U. U is for instrument whose name means jumping flea in Hawaiian. It has 4 strings and looks like a small guitar. It is easy to play. Players strum it lightly with their fingers. In Hawaii, people play it to accompany hula dancers. Did you know that this small guitar is a ukulele? Now we know where it comes from. It comes from Hawaii. Now in Puerto Rico, we have one that's a little bigger than this one, and we call it cuatro. And cuatro means 4 strings. And it sounds very different from the guitar. We use it during this time of the year, in December. We use it a lot for Christmas, accompanied by the guitar, of course. So it really sounds beautiful. Here you have some pictures of letter V. V is for the family of string instruments that are played with a bow. These instruments have similar shapes but different sizes. There are cellos, double basses, violas, and violins in this family. Did you guess that these instruments belong to the violin family? So, viola, violin, cello, and double bass. Very interesting. And since you do live in New York, it wouldn't be bad to go to New York City to the Lincoln Center and start learning a little bit more about music if you're interested. Here goes W. W is for instruments that are used to make their second sound or to make their sound. Some have a mouthpiece into or across which players blow air. Others have a bag or bellows that squeezes its air through the instruments. Did you guess that these instruments are wind instruments? And we have them in different pictures in the classroom if you want to look at them. Now, here come some of the last ones. You watch Y while I read X. X is an instrument that has 2 rows of wooden bars. Each bar is a different size and makes a different sound when you tap it with a mallet. This instrument is a type of percussion instrument which is played by being struck. Did you know that X is for xylophone? Y is for the yardstick. A yardstick is a simple stick that helps Australian Aboriginal dancers keep the beat. One girl is using a stick to beat a slit drum. The other is playing a rain stick. It has seeds inside. When you turn it from the end to end, the falling seeds sound like raindrops. And last but not least, letter Z. The name of the instrument to the right is easy. It starts with Z. Did you guess it's a Z's? A Z's is also called a thumb piano. A thumb piano, a Z's. See the rain stick? And that is the end of our story. So if you're interested in looking at some of these pictures and instruments, you can look at them in the classroom, but you can also go to Lincoln Center in Manhattan and take a good look at those musical instruments and probably watch a show. Remember, smart is not something you are, smart is something you get.